So if you want to use Vlookup, first you're supposed to have a data set that is unique. And this data set is not unique. Oh, maybe we can use this one. So Vlookup in full is vertical lookup. So you are looking for this column. You'll be looking for this vertically. Last time the trainer told us there is Vlookup and Hlookup and Xlookup. Vlookup stands for vertical lookup, Hlookup for horizontal lookup. We are going to start with Vlookup, vertical lookup. So, for example, I want to look up what column 1 value contains of this date, 11th, 12th, 19th, of the exit date. For example, sorry, I am not sharing my screen and you're not telling me. I'm sorry. Let me share. Can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, please type yes on the chat. Okay. Okay. So, yes, I was saying Vlookup. I want to find out what the value of column 1 contains on the date 11th, 12th, 2019. So, what I will do, I will first copy this date here. And then I will come here and write is equals Vlookup. Oh, sorry. Is equals Vlookup. So the lookup value will be this date that we want to check. That is our lookup value, comma. The table array is the table that you are currently using. So I'll just come here and highlight the table that I'm using. I can highlight till there because it's a really big table. That's the table array. The column index number is the column that you want to look up. So I want to look at column 1. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. It is the 4th column in the table. So I will write 4, comma. And then the last value, is it a true match or an approximate match? Here, a true match means that it is exact. For example, there are 4 pencils in the table. That is exact. An approximate match, we can take the examples of a salesman. A salesman can make sales for 1 month. It could be 1,500 amount, or it could be 4,000 amount. It's not exact. So it can be maybe from 0 to 1,000 sales, you get 0 commission. From 1,000 to 2,000 sales, you get 40% amount of commission. Now, in that scenario, when you get someone who has made like 1,500 sales and it is not defined in the table, that is when you use an approximate match. So an approximate match is 1, an exact match is 0. It is true and false. False is 0, true is 1. So here, because we want an exact match, we will use 0. Then we close the bracket, then we press enter. As you can see, it has given us 3. It has given us the value 3. And that is the value in the column. That is the value we were looking for. So far, have you understood what Vlookup is? Kindly unmute and speak or type in the chat. If you haven't understood, I will kindly request you to unmute and speak to me. I am a person who likes talking, interacting with my class kindly. But please don't do this with the other trainees. I just like this. Please unmute and speak to me. If you haven't understood, kindly raise your question before we try another example. Please. Okay, Janet, I will repeat. So let me do it again. So we have said VLOOKUP is horizontal. VLOOKUP is vertical lookup, sorry, not horizontal. So let's say you want to find the value of column 1, where the date is 11th, 12th, 2019. You can use a vertical lookup to look for the value. To do it, you just come here. You take... please, if you are speaking, kindly unmute. Kindly mute. You know, I can't see you. Yes, kindly don't speak when I'm trying to teach, because the recording is on, people can hear you. Yes, so if you want to look at the vertical value, if you want to look at column 1 value, when the date was 11th, 12th, 19th. Okay, let us say we want to find this Ojunga value here, right? Of when the date was 11th, 12th, 19th. So we will first pick this date and paste it somewhere. Then on the next cell, we will perform our VLOOKUP. Then the lookup value, the value that we want to look up, so it is this date, comma. The table array, what table are we using? That is the table that we are using. Currently, I am using this table. So that is the one I will highlight. I will highlight until there because it's a really long table. And then the value that you want now to get, the column index number. So the column index number represents the column in which you want to read that value from. We want to read the Ojunga value of the date 11th, 12th, 19th. So we count we count the number of columns to that Ojunga value. It is 1, 2, 3. The first column 1, 2, 3. So it is 3. That is the column value. Then either the approximate match or the exact match. As we have said, an approximate match is something that cannot be exact, like a salesman, like the number of sales a salesman can make in a month, because they differ. This month, this salesman can make 1,500 sales. Next month, the salesman can make 2,000 sales. The other month, the salesman can make 50 sales. They differ. So in a situation like that, you will use an approximate match. For example, if you are given values, if the salesman makes 0 to 1,000 sales, this salesman won't get a commission. If the salesman makes 1,000 to 2,000 sales, this salesman will get 10% commission. So in that situation, you will use an approximate match. But here, because the number is fixed, as you can see, it's either intermediate or junior. It is fixed. So we will use the exact match, and the exact match is 0. The approximate match is 1. So here we will use 0. As you can see, it has given us intermediate. That is the value we were looking for. Have you understood? Please kindly tell me, have you understood, or should I repeat before we go to the other example? Yes, Newton has understood. Tracy has understood. Okay, let's do one more example. So we want to perform the lookup of the date. Let's take 9th, 12th, 17. That is the date we want to use. So let me paste it here. So we want to check this column, the Saline column of the date 9th, 12th, 2017. So we will come, type is equals Vlookup. The lookup value is this date. The table array is the table we want to use. Then the column index number, it will be 1, 2. We want this second row. So we will type here 2. And since this is an exact match, we will type 0. So we get non-expatriate. Have you understood? Okay. Now, since you have understood, let me give you some rules of VLOOKUP. You cannot use VLOOKUP if the first rule you're supposed to understand is you cannot use VLOOKUP if you have a data set that is repeating itself. Like we cannot use VLOOKUP in this column. Non-expatriate, expatriate, expatriate, non-expatriate. If you use it, it will give you the first value. Let us try and see. Though I have never tried it, we can try and see. And then we say is equals VLOOKUP. Lookup value is that, comma. Yes. Also, another rule of VLOOKUP you must know is you are supposed to use the first column. Okay, we can try. You are supposed to reference the first column. Your first column is supposed to be your reference point. But we can also try doing that and see if it will give us an error or not. So is equals to VLOOKUP. Sorry. So expatriate, comma. We want to use this table. So we will highlight it. Okay, maybe until there, comma. We want to check the expatriate value of column 1. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if it will give us an error, comma. And then it is true. Okay, it is exact match, so we use 0. Yes, you see, it is giving us an error because you're supposed to use the first column as your reference point. And also, so here we have not used the first column, we have used the Saline column. That is why it is throwing an error. Also, if your data is repeated, okay, we can repeat this here so that we see what it will give us. So we come here and try to perform the VLOOKUP again and see what it will give us. That is our lookup value, our table array. Let's just use until there. The column that we want is Ojunga, so that is 1, 2, 3. Ojunga, so that is column number 3. And then it is an exact match, so we do 0. As you can see, it is giving me only the first value. All these other ones, it is not giving me these other ones. So if you perform the lookup on a value that is on a data set that contains values that are repeating themselves, just know it will give you the first value only. You won't get the values of the other rows. You'll just get the first value. Okay. Now that was VLOOKUP. Now we try Hlookup. What is Hlookup? Hlookup stands for horizontal lookup. We are doing vertical lookup, now we can do horizontal lookup. As you can see here, we were referencing the rows, the columns. Now we are supposed to reference the rows. So we can try Hlookup. It is written the same way you write VLOOKUP, but now instead of VLOOKUP, you write Hlookup. The value is that the table array is the same thing. But now here, instead of counting the columns like 1, 2, 3, here we will count the rows. 1, 2, it is row number 1, 2, 3. So it is, want the third row. It is 0. Oh, sorry. Let me see where I made an error. Okay, give me a minute to sort this out. Then I will share my screen just a bit. Okay, I have found my error. So I had told you, can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, type yes. Okay, so let's do Hlookup. So, for example, I have, but this data set is, for example, I have Ojunga. Okay, I have this data set is repeating itself. We can try this. We can try the intermediate one. Sorry, can try. Let me copy it there. I don't know, it's giving me false. Oh, I know why it's giving me false. Because it's a loop. Okay, we can try that. Let's copy. Let's move this date to here. So let's say you want to get this value, the exit date of the expatriate that is in row 3, right? So you write the expatriate and then you come do Vlookup. Sorry, Hlookup. The lookup value is expatriate. The table index is that. Oh, wait. Sorry. The lookup value should be Ojunga. Sorry, not expatriate. It should be Ojunga. It should be Ojunga. And then the table array is there. And then the row index number is which row do you want to look up? Like, let's say the 3rd row. Then 0. Let's try this and see if it works. Sorry. Don't know why it's giving me an error. Let's try. It's saying there is a problem with my error. Let me see where. I have an error. Let's see if this will work. It's supposed to be this one, but it doesn't want to reference. I don't know why. Let me try again. So, let me use P1. That's the lookup value. And then the table array is this table. Let me reference this table. And then the row index number is 3. Let's try this and see if it will work. And then the exact match is 0. Yes, intermediate. So that is how you do VLOOKUP. Instead, you use the column names to search for a value in the rows. VLOOKUP is for, HLOOKUP is for rows, VLOOKUP is for columns. I'm sorry. Okay, Saline. Okay, I'm sorry. HLOOKUP is for rows, VLOOKUP is for columns. So as you can see here, this P1, we have referenced the row name. And then here we have referenced the table. And then 3, we have referenced the row we want to check. Okay, here we have referenced the column number. Sorry, this is the column number. P1 is where the column is, the column name here. And then here, 3, we have referenced the row we want. We wanted 3, row 3, where the column is Ojunga, so we know the value that is there. So far, have you understood before we go to the next example? If you haven't, kindly speak up before we move on. Kindly speak. Okay, let me repeat. So let's do Hlookup again. So for example, I want to get this value, expatriate. It is in row 6 because the first row has headings. It is in row 6 of Saline. I want to figure out the expatriate value, right? I want to get it. So I will come here and write Hlookup. Then the lookup value will be Saline. Okay, not the lookup value will be here, this one, Saline. Why is it giving me this weight? That is O1, sorry. The lookup value will be O1, comma, that is Saline. And then we want this one, expatriate. So the lookup table, the table array will be our table. Then the row index number is the row you want to figure out. Like I want to figure out what is in row 17 of our table. So I can write here 16 because the first row has column names 16. And then it is an exact match, so I will write 0. Enter. Expatriate. Expatriate. Right? Let's try another one. Let's try another example. I want to figure out here. I want to figure out what is in column 1 of row 6. I will come here and write Vlookup. Then column 1 is Q1, so it will be Q1. The table array is our table. And then the row number, let's take 6. There, it is an exact match. Wait, why is it throwing an error? Q1, yes, the formula is correct.
Use Hlookup, not Vlookup.
Pardon?
Use Hlookup.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Hlookup. I'm sorry. These two things confuse me a lot. I'm sorry. Yes, it is Hlookup. Kindly, I'm sorry. These two, Vlookup and Hlookup are almost similar. They work the same. Okay, they don't work the same, but they have the same formulas. I'm sorry. Yes, it's Hlookup. So that is why. So it gives us 2. And here our value is 2. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, have you understood so far Hlookup and Vlookup? if you have, okay, we can do, who has not understood? Kindly speak up. I can repeat for you people. Okay, if who has a question? Okay, so we can try the last example, and then and then we see the way forward. So we can try finding row number 21. We can try finding the exit date, that is on row 12. So we come here and write Hlookup is equals to Hlookup. Then it is N1, the lookup value. The table array is our table. Yes, and then the row index number is 12. And then it is a exact match, so we write 0. What? It has given me a number. I don't know why, but the formula is correct. You can see the formula is correct. Okay, let's try another way. Let's try another example. Let's try finding expatriate on row 15, or finding what is Ojunga's value on row 15. We come and write Hlookup. It will be P1. The table array is this one. The table row is 14. And then it is an exact match. Let's try and see. Yes, it has given me junior. I don't know why this one was giving me a number. I'll go and figure it out, and then I'll send it to your groups. But here, it has given me the correct value. So all I can say is Vlookup and Hlookup have the same formula. The only difference is that here in Hlookup, sorry, you reference the column names, and if it were Vlookup, you should reference the rows inside what the columns contain. Okay, that was all for today. That was all I had prepared for. And let me check on the instructor and see how far he is and if he's going to make it to our class. Thank you. If you have no question, sorry, if you have a question, kindly raise it before we move on. Oh, okay, application, can they be used when I have a huge data? So when you have a huge data set, it is a bit of a problem. And the Hlookup, the instructor will come and handle Hlookup. I won't handle that. The instructor will handle it. I was just doing Vlookup and Hlookup. And when you have a huge data set, Excel becomes a problem, and that is why you are encouraged to also do Python. Because if you have a huge data set like 1 million rows, if you have a huge data set like 1 million rows, you can use Hlookup to look up a value in a certain row, like in row 1000. You can just use the formula. For example, here in our formula, as you can see, we wrote row 14, but we can also change this and write row 30 and see what it will give us. Though I haven't referenced it. Okay, row 30. Let me change the reference of our table so that I reference the row 32. Okay, I think that's enough. So if you want to look at the value of row 30, it's junior. So it can help you look at values when you have a big data set. Okay, you don't have to search for it manually, like come here and figure out where is row 30 and see the value. That's the application of Vlookup and Hlookup. Okay, also, but now you see, if you have a big data set, Excel becomes a challenge when using it. That is why the director on our last class was encouraging us to do Python, because Python is really fast when you have a huge data set, but that is how it can be applied. Okay, so yes, I think I have answered both Newton's question and Esther's question. Is there anyone else with a question? Okay, if there is no one with a question, I think I have covered what I was to cover today. Thank you for listening to me. We can take a break as I check if the instructor will be able to join our class today. He is a bit far away. That is why I had taken over the class for him. Let me stop sharing my screen. So the instructor is far away. So all I could advise you is kindly practice on both Vlookup and Hlookup. They are really confusing, but practice and practice and practice. Okay? Practice makes perfect. So let's meet at 5 p.m. for our Python class. Thank you for attending the class. And wait, before you leave, I will give you an attendance form for you to fill. Just give me 1 minute to post the link here in the chat. Please fill it before you leave.
That, Yvonne.
Yes.
That data you're using, ulipeana?
Yes, it's in the group. It's in the Excel group.
Oh, okay.
I can resend it again if you can't see it, but iko tu hapo.
Okay, so just send it then.
Okay, I'll resend it. Okay, let me first send you the link for the attendance form. Please don't leave before filling that form.
You are still not sending it. Are we doing it in the group or here?
I'm sending it. I'm taking the link.
Okay,
Just relax. I am sending it.
it's fine.
I have sent the link.